If you are new to our channel, would you consider subscribing? We would love to have you and couldn't do it without you. And what was it called?
My church. My church in Old Entry. Actually, this lady used to live right here.
Linda Davis?
Davis, Charles. This was Gene Fair's store.
Like a general store?
Yes. He had a store truck too. Come up home.
Find a mate?
Yeah. And Lila Docker lived over there across the street. The first time I dated Wendell, her house burned. And we stood here on the road and watched it, and I got in trouble because I was late. This store here was Ben Levingood's store.
Right here was another store?
Yeah. Stop here.
Where that house is?
He lived up there on the hill, and that was the store. That, not that building, another building. Yes. That little day was great when we got to Boiling Springs. One of my best girlfriends lived here. Wendell dated her older sister,
Oh, what was her name?
Catherine.
Your friend.
Katrina. They built that house. It was a big old white house. I spent the night with her there. She'd come spend the night with me.
Did Papa date much other than you?
Not really a whole lot. He dated some girls in Indiana. And this is where Dewey's mom and dad lived. Right here now on this big farm.
Is there still a house there?
No, it's tore down. But they had a
It
big,
was right
big
in their
family.
area?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was always out in this field working. Always. Doing them work like dogs.
I remember when there used to be gardens there.
Yeah. One of my dearest friends lived up this road right here. Gladys, she lives over in Knoxville now. We talk a lot. Right up through there. Way up in there. She lived there. This guy, they all went to the Boiling Springs Church. A lot of them walked from here to Boiling Springs.
Wow.
There was the Grace's. That's where Gladys used to live, not in those houses.
Yeah.
But not in those houses that Connor says. I don't know he lives there. The girl right here lived up on this bank. She married my first cousin. They walked to Boiling Springs too. And the Odells all lived over in there, and they all walked. They never had a car.
Oh, wow.
They walked to Boiling Springs night and day, visit for a week or whatever. Yeah. And this was the Hyde property. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Piece of property. I've seen that big old white house. Lucille was her name. She had rodeo. She was crippled. It's a beautiful, beautiful place though. I don't know who lives here now.
This was whose house?
Mr. Hyde.
So they weren't family?
No, they weren't family, but
Oh, look.
I'm sure there was probably family lived there before, but I can't remember who they are. They probably don't know who they are either. There was a big barn standing she's the one that delivered me.
Oh, really? Over in this area?
Ollie Mill. She was related to my mother. My husband was.
Was she a midwife by trade or just?
Yeah, she was a midwife. My girlfriend that lives up there, Catherine. She still lives up there.
Really?
She lives in Williamsburg. We used to own this property right here.
Oh.
And we would come down there and stay all day. We'd bring the lunch and eat it by the creek over there. It was so much fun.
It's pretty, right?
It was pretty. And this was the mill where we brought our meal to be ground, the corn ground into meal.
And who lived there?
She was, that was Uncle Ben Mills. His wife was also a midwife.
Ben Mills owned the mill?
And right here, Zeb Mills. Right here was a house hanging off this property. That's where he just died.
Oh, yeah.
What was his name?
Jack?
Yeah, Jack Elder. And this was Uncle Mother's uncle.
So the original house?
Yeah, Mills lived there. Oh, what was his name? Yeah, had a huge family.
Your mother's uncle?
Yes, it was her mother's brother. And this was Jack Odell. That was Ethel's brother, my sister-in-law's brother.
Right here?
Yeah, Christine. And I have my girlfriend that lives over in Knoxville. And has still got a house up in that beautiful home. We went up there when y'all were little. I can't remember if you remember that. It hangs off of a rock cliff. It was beautiful.
Oh.
And Uncle Odell lived up there. He was wild. Booge Odell.
Booge?
Booge Odell. He was Ethel's uncle. But Daddy,
How do you spell that?
B-double-G, I guess. Was her daddy's brother. And of course, this was Old Baldwin Springs. Now, when I went to church all my life, the church that here in the parking lot, it was a little white church.
Oh.
I was only in that church about 6 months or a year before I come here. I think about a year probably. It was built 54 and 55. We just moved into it not too long ago. And Ethel, there's a little road right here, went up to her house, right up that holler.
Oh,
And she
really?
lived up in there. Yeah, it was real isolated.
That road's not there no more?
Well, the road comes in here, but
Oh.
they always use the trail. Right there was the road.
Oh.
You could drive part of the way up there.
Oh, yeah.
And Aunt Tiny used to live up in there. It was a pretty old place. This was Aunt Mary Jane's. I lived in this old house. Rex lives in it now. That's her youngest.
Oh.
Nobody lives in an old house, but that's his house. And that was the sweetest thing because I went to school right there. First
Up on
5
the
years,
hill?
Up on the hill.
Right, did it sit right there?
Right there. That was a Bowling Springs school. Lord, we lived
Oh.
all over those mountains. We go way up in there. Uncle Luther lived there.
Oh. He left his chimney.
Yeah, he had a big farm there. And his barn almost washed away when that flood came.
Wow.
Wayne and Uncle Bob lived in this house. Wayne's daddy didn't have nothing.
That's still the original house, too?
Yeah, that's the original house. But now Wayne's is the newer house. It was a big old white house when they lived there. Well, he built that one later. And Uncle John T. and Aunt Hannah lived up in there.
Oh.
Later on.
Is that the original house, too?
The old one, yes.
Oh.
That was where home lived. This is Wayne's sister, but now that's been since I left here. Wasn't there when I was growing up. I used to ride a bicycle down through here. It was dirt road back in those days. It wasn't paved until 78 when Mother died. And my grandparents lived. My grandfather used to have some sort of a mill or something there in the
Right here? Oh.
They lived over in there. Big old white house.
Oh, there's a barn back there.
Yeah. There's still a barn, but that wasn't the original barn. We went in right there.
Oh.
It's a big old White House. And that wasn't there. And there was a house stood here. And then they owned all this. And then up in there was their apple house. They had a big apple house. It's called Jake's Cove. We used to feed in the spring right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we would just stop there on our way home from school. Get water come out of the mountain there. See, the creek comes right down all over here. This used to be shaded over,
Mm-hmm.
and you come through here and it was dark. Like, the trees cover this road. And you go across this road and go over to where my grandfather owned all that back in there. They owned a lot of property.
I remember Bobby would take us four-wheeler riding up that road.
Yeah, and Bobby lived up there. That was after my time. Herbert lived here. That's the original house.
Oh, Bobby's
This was my property here. And they built a new house up in there.
It's pretty.
That's a snaky cold rattlesnake dens back in there, I'll tell you right now. That's Hal and Jenny's. I don't know if there's any of the old house left or is it all down. We used to live back up in there too.
Oh, before you built.
Walk across the
I remember walking on that bridge.
Yeah.
There's the house.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
I did, honey, back in 70 years ago, 67 years ago. It's kind of fell down now. That's here.
Who lived here?
My grandfather, and that used to be all cleared and a mountain, and he tended all that. It grew tobacco.
Oh.
It was way back on the mountain. Lord, Lord. See, Betty lived with him. See, that back in there was flat.
Mm-hmm. Kind of what? I don't know. It's a pretty tree right here growing by the water, isn't it? Garden. And the shed was right there.
Jimmy Ledford lived up in there. And Nellie, she used to come down to the brother's store. Sit on the porch and she taught me. She taught me some long breaks. I've traveled this road when it was all grown up, and I tell you what, I couldn't see her. They had a big pine tree, and I could see that pine tree. I'd run Ethel stuff.
I remember making mud pies back there in Ethel's Creek.
Yeah. That's the old house. They built it when it was born there.
Oh, really?
I mean, she was born in the hospital, but they'd already lived down there. She was a year old when Linda and I got married. Oh, I just get so mad at Hal. He'd get my mascara. He was 6 when I got married. And he'd just get into my stuff. I just wanted to pinch his head off. And everywhere we went, he'd stand out there on the road ready to go. And Mom and Dad, of course, would pick him up. And he has to go.
Who had a cellar?
My grandparents.
Oh.
And it was a dugout cellar, but they had everything that you could imagine in there. Like they would take their cabbage and they'd take it out and make a big hole. And I don't know what they put over that, but they put it in the ground. It didn't stay all winter.
Oh.
Potatoes, cabbage, and what else did she say they were? But anyway, I remember going to that cellar when they had all this stuff. It was so deep. One time I was walking, I don't know where, and I come up to Wayne's there, and he said, "You take my truck and drive it home."
Oh.
And I did. I brought it back the next morning.
He lived where?
Right here. He was our song leader at the church. We never knew. He was a sweet, sweet man. He in Virginia, they didn't have children, but they adopted two, a boy and a girl. And I remember when they got Kayleen, she was 2. And Uncle Fred and Aunt Dorothy got Carol, and that's where the school's at right there.
Oh. Where up that little
Yeah,
road?
we had a mailbox right here, and we'd meet the mail, and letters was 3 cents a piece to mail them.
Oh. I love that little house.
I do too, and she was so sweet. Sweet, and she was my Sunday school teacher.
Oh. They live in that little house?
Aunt Mary Jane.
Aunt who?
Mary Jane.
Was she really your aunt?
No.
Oh.
Uncle Baxter Davis. And that was her son that now lives behind us. We thought he was the cutest thing that ever walked the earth. And he was back then. And Rex is still nice. He moved and went to California. Lived in California until after she died, I guess.
Is the spring still flowing right here?
I don't know if it's over there or not.
Let's see if it is. Was it near that light post?
It was back over in there. No.
No, it's the one that came off the mountain.
Oh, that's water that came off the mountain. But the spring,
Oh.
the boiling springs that boiled was over in there.
Oh. Well, what's the one that used to come off the
The
mountain?
spring was over. See where that building is?
Yeah.
That's where the spring was. Of course, the building wasn't there then. But it boils up just like boiling water.
Oh.
And it's cold as ice.
So that's how Bowling Springs got its name?
Uh-huh. Because it boiled. Or it looked like
Does the house cover it?
No, I don't know now, but back then there was no house. And we'd put our hands down there where it was boiling up just to feel it
Yeah.
and then drink out of it.
Oh.
But Uncle Bougie was really bougie. He was scary. But I'd go with Daddy and he'd say, I said there was a house too. What was that house? Where David lived, right along here somewhere by the road.
Oh.
And his daddy had come out and they'd stop and talk to me, and he said he was blind. He'd say, "These are awful pretty little girls, but I can't see them."
Oh.
And you'd think, well, how does he know? You know, little kids is funny.
Yeah.
That was so funny. Jack Rhodes and them used to live over in there, way over in there. Jack was my bus driver, and he called it Those Old Bus. First FedEx. I remember that house that hung, I don't know how they did that, but it hung off the bank.
How it was? Did that
It
place?
was stilts or something, I guess. None of this was here. The old house was, though. That's the same old house.
Oh. And that was who again?
That was, not Boot.
The Mills?
Yeah. That right here was the little mill. That building behind it was the barn. That other building wasn't there. Right there's where we used to eat, under those trees.
Oh.
All these trees weren't here then. They've grown up since then. We would work there all day. It'd take us all day. Daddy had plowed, we'd hoe. Mama didn't come. She would have us a big lunch, though. It was always so good.
What kind of stuff did she pack?
She'd pack biscuits and all kinds of stuff, you know, like that.
Did y'all have many fruit trees, or were there more vegetable gardens?
Well, we had a lot of fruit trees.
Did y'all?
The best apples. We had wine saps. We had, I can't think of the name of the some. We had the little early sweet apples. We called them. I don't know what they were really called. They were yellow.
A June apple?
Well, we had June apples too. They come first. We'd have the June apples, and then we'd have the yellow apples, and they were real sweet. That's all we ever called them was sweet apples. I'm sure they had them. My mother and daddy probably did. Alice Davis used to live up there. That was Aunt Mary Jane's daughter. And there was a lot of people that lived through here. That's always been the push. They kept that in Southern.
They did. It's one of my
We had
favorite
red right here in
places.
this curve one time. It used to be more deep.
Uh-huh.
Why he ran off or something. He just wouldn't pay attention or something. Go farm. It was beautiful. He even had it in corns. Mr. Hart would have it in. And I can't think who lived there before that was, but it's some relative, but I can't think who it was. We'd stop there, sit on that porch. All the old Dills lived over in there. They were Uncle Chris Mills' daughters. Gladys dated David, and we had the best time. She was in high school. He was my bus driver. David Odell, nice guy. And they moved to Knoxville. But I was always their go-between. Whenever they had any trouble, they come to my house. Just petty stuff. Mission or whether he just did it. I can't tell you because I wasn't here. They were telling me he used to be the deacon of the church, and he had to sit right beside her. Her name was Luella, and nobody could sit there but him. They sit in the choir. They sung in the choir. That was a pretty big old house. And said Vida Mae lived there with them for a while.
Oh. There's an old little
Yeah, they
house.
lived in that house while they were building this one.
Oh, really? Who was that again?
The Gentrys, Carl Gentry, and what was his wife's name? Wendell just walked her home from school. That's the Horn Baptist Church Cemetery. It is a pretty cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
this side of the road. I don't know who was on this side. The house is right here somewhere. I've been there.
Oh, right there.
Pretty cool area. That was Maggie there.
Oh, really?
Not Maggie.
Oh.
Oh shoot. Minnie.
Oh.
Minnie lived there. Minnie and Maggie. And I had a girlfriend that lived right here. I can't think of her name right this minute. Oliver and Nola used to live over there, not in that house. They had an old house. That was Lydia, Miss Steve's sister. That's when they got Cold Springs, though. Don't hear them enough till I forget. The Leatherwoods. They were from the Akron Baptist Temple.
Oh.
Here. This is where Mary Nell brings K-Part school of mother. She still goes to sports. He's dead. His marriage used to live across the street. She's a sweet girl. I used to know all that lives here, but I don't know who they are now. I know across the street, Odell lived because she was my teacher for 2 years. Elementary.
Uncle kept there?
No, it's Odell.
Odell.
Yes, she was Ethel's cousin. Ethel's teacher was my teacher too. Ethel's sister was my teacher too. Her husband, Opal's husband, Ralph Graves, she married Ralph Graves. He moved us from Ebenezer. They owned a store right here.
Like you going straight, right?
No,
And turn.
yeah. Go Graves Road. Ed Graves. That's where the store was right there. Ed owned that for all of my life. He lived right here. Ralph, his son, when it moved us, he used to go to the altar every service we had. We finally got saved. Nobody lives in these houses anymore. Too long ago. Judy's sister used to live across the road over there now. Gladys, she's the one that we hired to stay with our grandpa.
Oh, she's the one in that video singing.
She is Gladys, yeah. She lived there till her husband. She separated. She went to work and Miss Sneeden talked about it because they put on lipstick and go to work. Lord have mercy. They had a party line and boy did they use it. Just old people had never had nothing like that. Understand that.
What'd she think about you putting on lipstick and going to work?
No telling. There is no telling.
Turn left here, right?
Yes.
And then turn left again.
It's Cook's Road. Wendell took me out one night looking for Cook's Road everywhere in there. Oh, Jay.
Oh, this is where he was trying to go.
He was trying to go to Cook's Road. Yep.
Oh.
Ralph Dockery is Steve's brother. Dora Radford lives there.
Lauren?
Dora.
No, you said Lauren? The other people you're trying to think of?
Yeah, Lauren lives that way. Lauren and his brother. Dora lives in that little house. We used to own that field over there.
Oh, really?
We called it the Lauren place. And we were come down here and worked there.
Oh.
When I was very, very small, we had a cabin on it, and Mother would do the cooking every day. And I know it was hot in that because we had no, of course, air or lamps or nothing. And she had a wood stove that she'd cook. And Artie Radford lived right there beside it, and Julie lived here. They were all relatives. They didn't have phones, but they'd holler. If somebody went up this road, they'd holler and say, "Who was that?" And that girl that lived here this side. This was a rough run back in those days. You remember?
The what?
It was really rough back in those days. They just dig it out, whatever happened. Now this is what used to be going up home. They'd be covered over like this.
Yeah.
You walk through that and it was like so dark. They lived here from 41 till they died. That was the garden there.
Pretty.
See, all these trees were here. They've grown up since then. Isn't that something? Jimmy Lever. He lived by himself when Miss Lever wasn't there.
And what would he say?
Myrtle, you got any biscuits left?
Hey, Mom, is that why you stopped eating my leftovers?
When she fed him, well, then he was all right.
Oh.
My mother fed everybody.
Of course.
Noah Dockery got mad at her because she would pack Big Ruth and Alan a lunch to go to school because they'd come down with no lunch.
Oh.
We didn't have no lunch for him. We had nothing.
Why would they not bring a lunch?
I saw
I guess they didn't have it. I don't know. Or they're too lazy to pack it for them. And there's little, so mother, they'd come and they'd walk with me. So she'd just pack them a lunch and send it on.
What kind of stuff would be in your lunches, did you say?
I'd have ham and biscuits that I sold to my teacher every day.
Oh. Would you have any sides, like fruit or vegetables or cookies?
Yeah,
or...
we'd always have apples and stuff like that. And yeah, cookies, cake, whatever. But Emily only wanted the ham and biscuit.
Your teacher, Emily?
Yeah.
Did you call her Emily? Like Miss Emily? Or
Yes, I'm sure we did. Because
part of our first name?
well, she told us, whatever she told us, I don't even remember. But I'm sure we called her Emily.
Look out for a horse,
Aw.
Mama.
Okay. Watching. If you liked what you saw and you want to continue to have exclusive footage of travel content, would you consider subscribing to my channel? I appreciate the time that you took to watch this video, and I'm thankful to have you a part of my travel community. God bless y'all.